Atma Namaste. My name is Acharya Danny. I'm a disciple of Grandmaster Choa. Today we're talking about character building. What is the significance or how important is character building? Now, when you say character building, it means you're trying to develop positive qualities. You're trying to practice positive virtues. In short, you're trying to become a better person. So every time you attempt to become a better person, you're actually trying to build your character. You're trying to become better than what you were before. Now, how important is this? When a person is on the spiritual path, the objective is to evolve spiritually. Now, even if a person is just mildly on the spiritual path or not even praying or meditating regularly, the practice of character building is still important. It's still important. Now, it is like this. We have to look at the certain situations when a person is practicing positive virtues and compare that with a situation where a person is doing the opposite. Okay, for example, let's take loving kindness and anger. So these are on opposite extremes, no? One is being loving, being kind to others as well as to oneself. The other is being angry and fierce and irritated. So they're like on two ends of the spectrum. Now, obviously, when you start practicing loving kindness, you're doing character building. You're trying to build your character, trying to become better than what you were before. Every time you get angry and you manifest these negative emotions towards yourself or towards others, you're retrogressing. Now, if you look at it from the perspective of energy, and in Grandmaster Choa school, you learn a lot about energy. You learn how to feel the energy. In some instances, you learn how to see the energy. Now, even just using logic alone, you could analyze and see the importance of doing character building. Now, when you practice character building, you're practicing several virtues. There are several virtues taught in Grandmaster Choa's courses. And these virtues are recommended for everyone. When you start practicing loving kindness and non-injury, there's a process that you go through. You try to remove slowly, one by one, the tendencies to be angry, the tendency to be irritated, the tendencies to be short-tempered. And in its place, put in patience and tolerance, kindness and love towards all. Now, from the energy perspective, you will see that there's a tremendous change in the quality of the energy of a person. You see, the energy of anger, the energy of hatred, the energy of irritation, especially severe irritation, the energy quality is gross or coarse or rough. While the energy of loving kindness is smooth and subtle. So when a person is practicing character building, the person's energy system, the aura, the energy bodies, these vehicles, these energy bodies become more subtle. While when a person gets angry, and this happens to everyone from time to time, when a person gets angry, the quality of the energy becomes coarse and rough. So when a person regularly does character building, regularly monitors himself or herself, regularly looks at what they think about, regularly monitor what they say to others, and they are almost always on good behavior all throughout the day, their energy system becomes more subtle, more smooth, more soft, and they gradually move away from the rough and coarse energy vibration of anger and hatred. Now, when a person practices more and more and more of the love and the kindness and manifest it in their life, they move so far away that it's difficult for them to come back down. Even if they're not meditating, even if they're not praying to God, when a person does character building, they move away from being a bad, negative person into someone who is kinder, more compassionate, and more loving. So, can you imagine if you're also meditating, if you're also praying to God regularly, and you're also doing character building, and you're helping other people in your own way, your spiritual progress is going to be really fast. At the same time, you are building yourself into someone who has great difficulty making mistakes, because the energy vibration of anger and hatred are at some point in time becoming alien to your system, meaning you rarely, if ever, make the mistake of getting angry or irritated or get into the situation of hating somebody. So this is where character building is important when it comes to growth, when it comes to evolution. The moment you have built into your system, the moment your energy system is more subtle and more smooth, it is difficult for you to backslide. It's difficult to retrogress. Of course, we are only human, so from time to time, once in a while maybe, you retrogress, but not retrogress all the way back to square one. You may retrogress a little, but you're able to recover. So it is the practice of the virtues, it is the character building that prevents you from sliding all the way back to your worst. So character building needs to be done every day. It has to be practiced in daily life. So everywhere you go, you try to make an effort. Are my thoughts kind and positive? Are the words that I'm saying, are they nurturing? Are they helpful? And my actions, my body language, is it being harmless or is it being threatening? So when we practice these virtues, when we practice trying to become a better person, and we do it more regularly, after some time, usually a period of several weeks or a few months for some people, after some time it becomes so integrated into your life. It becomes part of you, and you'll be surprised. Many people will start, especially your old friends who haven't seen you, they all start saying, oh, you've changed so much. And you will attract more positive things into your life. You see, in the spiritual practice, there's a saying, like attracts like. In the inner world, in the spiritual world, like attracts like. So the more you practice the virtues, the more you attract positive energies into your life. The more positive energies come into your life, the better the life is. So let's say if in the past, you're having, let's say, 30-40% of the time you're having a bad day, or you're having bad days, and then 50, 60, maybe 70% of the time, everything is good. Now, some days you hit a rough patch, maybe the ratio reverses. Maybe 60% of the time you're having a bad day. 40% of the time it's good. However, when you practice character building, this whole thing changes completely. Suddenly, if you've been practicing the virtues for a certain period of time, for several years, suddenly you'll notice that the ratio becomes like 80-90%. You're having a good time, not too many rough patches. Only 10-20% of the time you have bad days. And that ratio sort of improves and gets better and better and better and better. So sometimes, and I've known some people, I've met some people who said, in a year, sometimes it's just 2 or 3 days out of 365 days where they were unable to control themselves, where they blew up or they got angry or they lost control out of 365 days. And that's not so bad. Of course, we also have to take care that we don't have an overly developed conscience where we take things out of proportion and we say during those 3 days, oh, I'm such a terrible person. We have to look at it from a bigger picture. If we were good most of the time, 80-90% of the time, you're already good. You make mistakes, don't get too hung up about it. It's okay. I mean, compared with other people, some people are having it worse. Maybe they're getting angry most of the time, maybe 60% of the time, maybe 50% of the time. You're much better off. And the way to get there is to practice the virtues. Now, what are the virtues that we practice in character building? In Grandmaster Choa's school, we practice 5 virtues. This is part of character building. First is to be loving and kind and not to hurt people. Non-injury. Not hurting people, this is ahimsa. So not hurting people extends to not harming or not hurting any living thing. That includes animals. That includes plants. Now, all living things. That includes even the energy beings, the devas. So loving kindness, non-injury is practiced and extended towards all. You practice this virtue, it starts radiating out from your aura. Even the people near you, after some time, they get influenced positively by this virtue, by this energy within you. And they also start to become loving and kind and nice. When this starts happening to you, you'll find things get done much, much more easily. You make requests to your co-workers, to your family members, and because of the nice, loving energy you both share, things get done smoothly in a harmonious manner. Not too many arguments about why we should be doing this, why not this. Things go smoothly. Now, the second virtue is generosity and non-stealing. Generosity means you don't have to give everything. The general rule is, from your income, give maximum 10% of your net income. This is after taxes, after GST. Your take-home pay, 10% of this, you set it aside, give a little bit to this and that charity. So your 10% gets distributed to several charities. And don't forget, you have to give a little bit to your parents as well, to show your gratitude. So generosity as a virtue is a way of showing compassion and gratitude to all, Now, the virtue is generosity and non-stealing. Non-stealing means, obviously, don't take what does not belong to you. Now, this has a more expanded meaning because you cannot steal, not just physical objects or money, In this modern day and age, we're not supposed to steal intellectual property. So we're not supposed to copy someone else's music or someone else's poetry or books and claim it as ours, Similarly, in the office, if one of your coworkers does the job, we have to give credit where credit is due and say, it was this person who did the job, not me. A third virtue is honesty and non-lying. And that means we should be truthful and honest most of the time, because when we lie, we distort the perceptions of others. Now, these three virtues are very important because they're connected with the foremost qualities we're trying to develop, which is love and light, love and truthfulness. These are qualities which we should all develop. As we practice these virtues, we grow spiritually, we grow emotionally, we grow mentally. Life gets better. In order to more easily develop the love aspect within us, one of the techniques that we've learned from Grandmaster Choa is the meditation on twin hearts. Now, everyone remembers how it's done. Don't forget, just follow the simple instructions from Grandmaster Choa. He will ask you to raise your hands and bless the earth. And when he does this, you raise your hands like this. Imagine the earth like a small ball between your hands and bless the earth. You'll be blessing the earth from your heart chakra. You'll be blessing the earth from your crown chakra. During the meditation, don't forget, keep the tip of your tongue connected to your palate, to the roof of your mouth. If during the meditation it may come down for one reason or another, make sure you connect it back up. The moment you notice it's down, just connect it back up, no problem. Now, at the end of the meditation, don't forget, bless everybody. Everybody means everybody, including the people who have made life a little difficult for you. Send them good energy so that good energy comes back to you. Follow the simple instructions and you'll have a wonderful meditation. Atma Namaste.